To begin with talking about inequalities, let's make sure we know what the symbols for inequalities might look like. So we have greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and just not equal to. Let's make sure we understand those signs. So if I said 4 and 2, well, I know that 4 is greater than 2, so 4 is greater than 2. If I said 2 and 4, I know that 2 is less than 4. If I said some number, let's call it x, I know is greater than or maybe equal to 3. I could also say that y is less than or maybe even equal to 2. I could also say that x does not equal y. So now let's tie that back in with us talking about negative numbers. So let's say I had -6 plus blank, and I said any number to make a sum less than 0. So I need to make a number that will be less than 0. So what I'm saying is that all of this right here has to be less than 0. So start thinking about some numbers that I think I could put in there. So if I said -6 plus 8, well, remember how we did negatives with adding? You can think about the number line or those color chips. If I said -6 plus 8, -6 plus 8 is 2. Now if I said that is my answer, if I put 8 in here, that would say that -6 plus 8, which is 2, is less than 0. Well, that's not true. So it can't be 8. In fact, it has to be much less than 8, doesn't it? So let's try again with a number that will work. What about if I said 6? Okay, +6. So -6 plus +6 is 0. Now that says that 0 is less than 0, but that's still not true. I cannot say that because it equals that it's also less than. That isn't the same thing. So I need to actually say that any number less than 6 would be able to fit in this spot right here. Meaning, if I said -6 plus 5, well, 5 is less than 6. That would work. If I said -6 plus 2, that's less than 6, which will give me a number for a sum that is less than 0. What about negative numbers? What if I said -6 plus -2 is less than 0? Is that true? -6 plus -2 is -8. -8 is most certainly less than 0. Okay, so that works. So again, to read this, I'm saying 3 plus what is less than 0. Okay. Now, if I said any positive number, is that going to work? Now, just think about it for a second. If I put in 1, let's say that. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 is not less than 0, so that does not work. Okay. But what about if I said -1? Let's say 3 plus -1 is less than 0. 3 plus -1, if you go to that number line or the color chips, you would get 3 plus -1 is +2. 2 is not less than 0. That does not work. Okay, so now we know that not even -1 works. So we have to go a little bit further, so think about this. What if I put in -3? I said 3 plus -3 is less than 0. 3 plus -3 is actually 0. 0 is not less than 0. So what I need to say for that sum, I need to give an answer, I need to give a number in there that is less than -3. Now remember, when we talk about the number line, numbers that are less than -3 would be any number to the left of -3. So any number on the number line that goes to the left of -3 is less than -3. So if I said 3 plus -4 is less than 0, yeah, that actually works. Now let's try doing for something greater than 0. Okay, well obviously 7 minus nothing is greater than 0. So if I put in 0 right there, I'd say 7 minus 0 is definitely greater than 0 because that's 7. 7 is greater than 0. What about if I said 7 minus 5 is greater than 0? Is that true? 7 minus 5 is 2, which is greater than 0. Okay, what about 7 minus 7? Is 7 minus 7 greater? That's supposed to be greater. Is 7 minus 7 greater than 0? What is 7 minus 7? That's 0. 0 is not actually greater than 0. It's the same as 0. Okay, so now 7's too much. But what about negative numbers? What if I said 7 minus -1 is greater than 0? Okay, 7 minus -1. Think about the number line. Think about those color chips. 7 minus -1 is 8. 8 is greater than 0. So that does work. Good job. So I could put any negative number in that place and it will work. I could put any negative number and I could put any positive number up until, what number was it again? Can I say up till 7? No, I can't do that because if I said 7 minus 7, that is 0. So it has to be any number less than 7 will work in that place.